Shastrakrit Prabhu, can you hear us?
You are muted.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Sorry about that. So I'm just reading the translation for verse 9. Because verse 8 didn't have the purports of reading 9 as well. So the translation says if one desires all opulences, his duty is to worship Lord Vishnu with his wife Lakshmi. With great devotion, one should worship him according to the above mentioned process. Lord Vishnu and the goddess of fortune are immensely powerful combination. They are bestowers of all benedictions and the sources of all good fortune. Therefore, the duty of everyone is to worship Lakshmi Narayana. Purport. Lakshmi Narayana, Lord Vishnu and Mother Lakshmi are always situated in everyone's heart. Ishvara Sarva Bhutana Hridesha Arjuna Tishtit. However, because non-devotees do not realize that Lord Vishnu stays with his eternal consort, Lakshmi, within the hearts of all living entities. They are not endowed with the opulence of Lord Vishnu. Unscrupulous men sometimes address a poor man as Daridra Narayana or poor Narayana. This is most unscientific. Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi are always situated in everyone's heart. But this does not mean that everyone is Narayana, especially not those in poverty. This is a most abominable term to use in connection with Narayana. Narayana never becomes poor and therefore he can never be called Daridra Narayana. Narayana is certainly situated in everyone's heart, but he is neither poor nor rich. Only unscrupulous persons who do not know the opulence of Narayana try to afflict him with poverty. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktami. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Very beautiful translation and purport as usual. Srila Jiva Goswami, he wrote these Sat Sandarbhas. There are the 6 volumes of books and they contain 100,000 verses. And they're all based on this one line from Srimad Bhagavatam that says, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Just that one line, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Jiva Goswami wrote elaborate sandarbhas consisting of 100,000 verses explaining that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This famous verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Ete Chamsa Kala Pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indriyari Vyakulam Lokan Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. That, there are plenary portions and portions of plenary portions, like that, expansions, incarnations of the Lord. But Krishna is the source of all of them. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam is the original. And people, even in India, they don't understand this point. Because I used to think like that too, that Krishna is believed to be one of the incarnations of Vishnu. I mean, it's still wonderful to understand that much, to understand Krishna and Vishnu, that Vishnu Tattva, like that. It's still, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us this topmost of the spiritual knowledge. Aradhya Bhagavan, Vrajesha Tanaya Taddhamam Vrindavanam, Ramya Kashchid Upasana Vrajavadu Vargena Kalpita, Srimad Bhagavatam Amalam Puranam. So Mahaprabhu came to teach us these things. Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanaya. So the worshipable Lord, the supreme is Vraja, Isha, Tanaya, is Krishna. Tadhamam Vrindavan. What else is worshipable is his abode. Sri Vrindavan Dham. It's like Guru Maharaj, Devamrit Maharaj explains, it's like going to Krishna's bedroom when you go to Vrindavan. You have to be very careful. Tadhamam Vrindavana. What else is topmost is Ramya Kashid Upasana, the way of worship by the gopis. And Srimad Bhagavatam Amalam Puranam, he said that the topmost of knowledge about Krishna is Srimad Bhagavatam, spotless Purana. So to understand, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to give us the topmost knowledge uh, of the spiritual world. And Srila Prabhupada brought it and hand delivered it. It came in a cargo ship. First he came here to Pennsylvania and then set up a shop in New York and was distributing this topmost secret of all secret. Krishna says in the Gita that Raja Vidya Raja Guyam, that this is the topmost knowledge. Raja Vidya is also topmost secret. Raja Guyam. So to understand this is not a cheap thing. Actually, it's encouraged for a neophyte to actually worship Krishna in the mood of Lakshmi Narayana. So we don't become, too familiar and make offenses in the name of, spontaneous devotional service to Krishna. Radha Krishna worship is very advanced. But Srila Prabhupada has kindly established Radha Krishna temples all over the world. I mean, it's amazing. Some devotees in Sydney, Australia, they told us how they were 2 weeks old in Krishna consciousness. They got Brahmana initiation. They had to care for the deities. And Srila Prabhupada was actually praying to those deities, Radha Gopinath, how, Krishna, I'm entrusting you in the care of the, newly initiated, these boys, that girls that come from like Malaysia background. Please give them the intelligence how to take care of. It was like an emergency mode. Srila Prabhupada established 108 uh, temples, farm communities, vegetarian restaurants, Gurukula, Goshala, and wrote thousands of letters. Like any problem, immediately they'll write to Srila Prabhupada. That's why we have thousands and thousands of letters from and to Srila Prabhupada. He was managing all these thousands of disciples and writing books, so many books, and like personally traveling the globe 14 times. It's incredible. But Srila Prabhupada came to hand deliver this mercy of Radha Krishna worship. But if in the beginning, if we worship them in the mood of awe and reverence, that's what is recommended for Kanishta Adhikaris. I was reading this pastime of Sudama, Sudama Vipra, this Brahmana, Sudama. He went to visit Krishna and Rukmini in Dwaraka. What happened is Sudama, this amazing devotee, he was so emaciated from poverty. They didn't have nothing, like nothing in their kitchen. His wife one time went in the kitchen. She didn't have anything in the kitchen to feed him. And, she was broken-hearted as a loving wife. Like, she came to him and said, I'm sorry, it's like nothing in the kitchen. It's like air, like Maha air. There's nothing there. And she said, why do we have to live like this? Your friend, Dwarakadish, your friend is there in Dwaraka because they were living in nearby. And so why don't you go and ask him for some charity? He is Brahmanya Deva. He is Bhakta Vatsala. He's the husband of goddess of worship. Why do we have to live like this? Please go see your friend. And his wife was thinking, even if he doesn't ask for anything, even if he's just silent, Krishna will bestow his mercy upon him. So she begged him. And she knew that he doesn't like this kind of approaching the Lord for material benefits. So she had to really convince him to go on. He was thinking, I'll go for my wife. And she was asking him to go for him. So such selfless couple. And Sudama Vipura, he asked his wife, do we have any gifts to take him? And she said, we just don't have nothing. And she went to the neighboring houses and she begged some alms. And they, people gave her some chipped rice, flat rice. It's just so like dry and austere. There's no flavor. And they didn't even have a nice, like, when a Swami comes, we give nice bags and envelopes, and they didn't have nothing. And she found a torn cloth and she wrapped that, chipped rice in that, and he stuck it in his dhoti and went to see Krishna. And it's like, imagine your friend, high school friend was, or, is the president, and you're going to the White House, and you're all like emaciated, no proper shoes, and there are more holes in the dhoti than the dhoti itself, and really, like not matching the mood of the Aishwarya, the opulent. He felt so humbled and out of place, but the guards were very nicely trained to receive brahmanas that they let him in, and he went in, and Krishna had 16,108 queens and palaces, but he went to Rukmini's palace, one of the principal palaces. He went, and Krishna you know, was there with Rukmini. They were enjoying their pastimes. Krishna saw Sudama. He stood up from you know, from his seat, and he was so loving. He was so welcoming, and he was so happy to see his friend. He, you know, went and embraced Sudama. It actually says that Krishna was feeling ecstatic symptoms in his body, touching his devotee's body, and he put Sudama on a nice seat, and he washed, he bathed his feet, and this goddess of fortune, Rukmini, she was personally fanning Sudama with the chamara, and Sudama was feeling like so humbled and overwhelmed, and Krishna was asking about his welfare, and Krishna was remembering how they went to Gurukula together. And one time, Sudama and Krishna, they went to collect firewood for the yagna. The spiritual master does yagna, and the student is supposed to collect firewood for the spiritual master. Carry the firewood from the forest. So one time Sudama and Krishna went to collect firewood in the forest. And there was a storm and rain and flood, and they lost their direction. They didn't know, like, where's the high and where's the low. And, you know, recently we were hearing what Kamalini Mataji, one Prabhupada disciple, she was driving to Mangalarati, and she just thought it's just a puddle of water, but it happened to be like a flood and a deep hole that the whole car went in. She's an older Mataji, like she was not even feeling well, and she had to like quickly think and wind down the window before the car dies and swim out of the window where the car got washed out. So luckily she survived. So the boys didn't know where to go. So they were just like cold and shivering, and just waited till the sunrise, where the spiritual master came and found them and was so pleased with them. He dried their hair and kissed them and picked up the wood and brought them back to the ashram, and he gave them benediction. For your service, I'm so pleased, and I bless you that that the mantras, the Vedic mantras you've learned, you will never, the mantras will never become distasteful for you. That's interesting. It's like, you leave out a plate of prasadam in your room, and the next day you're not excited, it becomes distasteful. Like that, sometimes when we are neglectful in our practices, these same things, the Maha Mantra, the scriptures, the association, everything becomes distasteful. Like we have developed taste for something else, unfortunately. So the Guru blessed them, Sandipani Muni, that you will never lose taste for these mantras. So Krishna was remembering with his friend their childhood pastime. We can imagine. Wow, this is so amazing. It's such beautiful memories. All of us, when you made our childhood friends, all the things we did, and Krishna was inquiring his welfare. And the question is asked by the devotees and the acharyas who are commenting. How is that usually when you worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that you're opulent, there's abundance all of a sudden, all auspiciousness, devotees have everything, especially those who are engaged in uh, assisting the Sankirtan mission. They're very opulent. Never seen a poor devotee, especially like even brahmacharis. They're new. They're selling books. They have everything. It's amazing. So the question is asked: how is that? Is this devotee of the Supreme Lord, the school friend, is so poor? It doesn't match. Because Krishna says that yoga kshemam vahamyaham, I provide everything. But this person doesn't have, and the acharyas comment, the commentaries of Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur breaks it down further. How Krishna doesn't give wealth. If a person, Krishna doesn't give a lot of wealth if a devotee is not very advanced, because it can get into our head and we can lose it. I remember in the ashram in LA long time ago, there was a devotee that he got like about $500,000 inheritance. And he left the ashram within as soon as he got the money. It's like, it's amazing. Because we think, oh, if I have a lot of money, I'll serve Krishna. But if you're not advanced, we may not serve Krishna. But Sudama is very advanced. So why is he didn't have money? Why is he so poor? It's also explained uh, by the acharyas that if some devotee is very determined and against material opulence, they're like disgusted with material opulence. They like really like don't want it. Then also Krishna doesn't give them. So Sudama Vipra, this devotee was like completely, you know, renounced. He didn't want anything. So Krishna didn't give him anything. And if some devotee is neutral, he's not, he doesn't have aversion or attraction for wealth, and he's advanced and he can use the Lakshmi in Krishna's service, then Krishna gives them plenty of opulence. It's like a perfect situation. So Sudama didn't have anything. And Krishna welcomed him, remembered their childhood pastimes, and then Krishna saw this little pouch hanging in his hip, and Krishna snatched the senior Sudama's not gave him. He was so humbled by all. Can you imagine, like you walk into the White House, and, try to give the president some useless things, you'd rather not. So Sudama was like embarrassed, but Krishna snatched it and he opens the, you know, cloth bag and he takes a mouthful of the chipped rice. And Krishna is thinking, this is more valuable than everything I possess. Can you imagine that? Like for the Lord, you know, a devotee is feeling unqualified, like, what do I have? Like one time Prabhupada cried speaking about Prabhupada said, I have nothing, I have come to give you this something rotten. Please accept. Prabhupada was crying. He said, this is the mood of the devotee. No pride. Sometimes we become very proud just because we're doing a little service. The Prabhupada said, a devotee is feeling, I have nothing and I've come to offer you this rotten service. Kindly accept. So Krishna took a mouthful and the entire creation is satisfied, is mentioned. Yashmin tushte jagat tushta. If the Supreme is pleased, what is there? Everything is, everyone is pleased. And then he was about to take another handful, and Rukmini stopped it. Couple of reasons. One is Rukmini Devi is thinking, save some for us. There's so many queens and servants and children and devotees. Don't need it all, Krishna. And the other thing is, just by Krishna eating one, handful of the chipped rice, Rukmini is already going to give blessings, so much blessings, even greater than Indra to this devotee. And Rukmini is thinking, if he eats another handful, I personally have to go to his house and serve. And then the Acharyas also explained that Rukmini was concerned, oh, this stale chipped rice may hurt Krishna's stomach. So she stopped him, and this way, Krishna was displaying, you know, how to have loving dealings with devotees. How, Krishna is showing, I'm Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am worshipping my devotees. Mad Bhakta Puja Abhyadika. Krishna says, worshipping my devotees greater than worshipping me. So Krishna is showing by example. The standard ideally is that we have to, the devotees are on the, worshipable. That's the state we have to come to. We are still in the stage of criticism and envy and gossip and comparing with others and so many things. So we have to come to the state of worshipping the devotees. Like Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, one of the Goswamis of Vrindavan, is mentioned about him. He wouldn't find fault with anyone. If somebody is chanting Hare Krishna, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami says, that's good enough for me. They're worshipable. he wouldn't hear any criticism. So Krishna is worshipping his devotee, associating, uh, you know, taking time. This is very, it's a devotional art, it's a devotional sport to make time, to spend time with other devotees. It's such a luxury. We can be like impersonal, we're not like Mayavadis or Buddhists, you know. I'm doing my own thing and I won't make time to associate with devotees. That means, uh, we are on our way out because we're not appreciating how are we going to go in the spiritual world and be personal with other gopas and gopis. We have to practice here. So Krishna was showing how to be personal. And after all these loving exchanges, Krishna didn't give him anything so called. He just bid him farewell. And Sudama started walking back home. And Sudama was, remembering all these loving dealings. And in his head, he's thinking, oh, it's good that the Lord didn't give me anything because Krishna knows if he would have given me something, I'll fall down. So it's a good thing he didn't give me anything. So he was walking back, he was remembering, who I am. I'm just like a Brahma Bandhu. I'm like a fallen Brahmana. I'm so poor and emaciated, wretched. And who is Krishna, the husband of goddess of fortune? And how he dealt with me is so satisfying. It's just, he felt like he's attained perfection even in this body that all this happened. He just felt liberated. So he was walking back home, more humbled and more grateful. Amazing devotees, qualities. Personally, I would have been like complaining, like, what is this? This guy has so much wealth, and didn't give me nothing. All this walking and it's all waste of energy and time. How am I going to feed my children, my wife? We're like ready to complain when Sudama was grateful, happy, and yes, I don't deserve. I'm glad he didn't give me nothing. But then when he goes back home in his neighborhood, he didn't even recognize his neighborhood. It's all transformed into palaces. And his wife went to bed in a hut with all these holes in it and sleeping on a mud floor. She woke up all transformed into this beautiful lady with so much jewelry and ornaments and youth and palace. And she had a quick realization. This is all must be because my husband went to see Krishna. She recognized quickly. See, a devotee is always seeing the connection. Sometimes when I'm selling books, people come to me, how do you support yourself? And I ask them, how do you support yourself? Oh, we have a job. So Krishna has two energies. One is material energy. So the material energy is supporting you, and the spiritual energy is supporting me. That's what I tell them. You know, they can't figure it out. It's like, how do you survive? How do you live? So everything got transformed, and the devotee recognized it's not an accident. It's not my own. It's Krishna's mercy. And the acharyas explained Sudama was kept in the same state till he got home, so the wife can recognize him. And then his wife came, and Sudama didn't recognize her. And then the maidservant, now they have maidservant. The maidservant told him, "This is your wife." And when they held hands, And Sudama got transformed at that moment into beautiful, youthful body with opulent clothes and jewelry and like this. And they were so grateful. Still, Sudama was being mindful and careful that he doesn't fall down with all this opulence and, and always, continue to be Krishna conscious and continue his practices. And it's mentioned in this way, he passed so many tests. He passed so many tests. He had wonderful sadhana and consciousness. And it says he went back to God. So reading this pastime was so nourishing. So many, so many lessons and examples. If we worshipping the Supreme Lord, then Goddess of Fortune, Rukmini and Lakshmi, they will bless us. That's the mistake of the materialistic people, that they want, kingdom of God without God. They want Sita without Ram. That's like the Ravana Ravana mentality. But the devotee understands that by worshipping Krishna, worshipping Krishna, worshipping Tulasi, worshipping, Gomata, worshipping the devotees, spiritual master, books, we receive all blessings we need. We don't need to be in anxiety. It may not look like it's lined up, but it is. Just like in this pastime we saw. We may not be able to see it, how Krishna is going to do it. But we have to have faith in the words of Krishna, the spiritual master, that, Srila Prabhupada said, if you're chanting 16 rounds and following 4 regs, you're all set. Don't worry too much about yourself. Srila Prabhupada said, go out and make others fortunate. You don't need to worry about yourself. So that much assurance is given. And we have to, take the words of the acharyas and Krishna. So I'll stop here. If we have any questions or comments or chastisements, realizations.
Well, you explained the in the beginning of the lecture you mentioned uh I'm gonna paraphrase what you said. You mentioned worshiping Lakshmi or Narayan. I don't want to say the word easier. Would that be a good word to say? It's easier than worshiping Radha Krishna because there's a lot of
So what did you say?
in the beginning.
Worshipping Lakshmi Narayan is what?
I don't want to say the word easier, but
Easier?
that's the initial word that's coming to my mind. Is it, I don't know if that's the right word, but easier than worshiping Radha Krishna?
Not easier.
Okay, it's not the word.
Yeah. James Prabhu is asking if worshipping Lakshmi Narayan is worship easier than worshipping Radha Krishna. So the acharyas say that the worshipping Lakshmi Narayan is in the mood of awe and reverence. and worshipping Radha Krishna is on the platform of spontaneous devotional service. So we have to worship Krishna and Radha in the mode of Lakshmi Narayan in the beginning. So we don't make offenses. There are people in Vrindavan, for example, the man, like a man with beard and stuff, they will put on like makeup and gopi dress, and they're thinking they've become a gopi. They want to dance with Krishna and all this. It's like too cheap, so you can make offenses. Even it's mentioned that the Rasa Lila, the confidential pastimes of Krishna, it can cure us from lust if we read it in proper association and context. But if we read it like it's some kind of a romantic magazine or something, then it'll kill our devotional life. So, in other words, worshipping Lakshmi Narayan is very strict mode. So when we, being careful and follow the rules and regulations and being extra careful like that, that way, we are protected from making offenses. So that's what it is. It's like tread with caution. Don't become so quickly enter into Krishna's bedroom, like because Aishwarya, Aishwarya Bhav, the mood is, you understand that Vishnu is supreme and we are humble servants. And then worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, also in that mood of dasya, then we are given entrance into the higher realms of bhakti. So we are fortunate we have the knowledge and worship of Gauranitai. So that way, we are freed from offenses and we can gradually approach the pastimes of Radha Krishna. Thank you. Does anybody? Yeah. Sorry. I can read a couple of verses.
Hare Krishna, Shastakrit Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for the class and the pastime.
Thank you, Prabhu.
That's what my question has to do with. It has to do with the fact that Krishna blessed him with so much wealth, and the loving dealings they had showed how much Krishna really loves him,
Mhm.
And so I was thinking of that verse in the Bhagavatam 10:88, 8, where Krishna especially favors someone, he gradually deprives them of his wealth.
Yes.
It seems like Krishna was especially favoring Sudama, but he gave him wealth. Thoughts about that?
Yeah, looks like that's what the acharyas say, that he passed all the tests on so many levels. So he didn't have nothing, and he was perfectly Krishna conscious. And then usually the Lord takes away the wealth to bring us to fully Krishna conscious and dependent on the Lord. But in this case, he was already fully dependent and poverty stricken. So, he didn't have opulence in the beginning, and then the Lord gave him the opulence later on. Is the other way around. And even he was so mature that even though the Lord gave him more opulence than Indra, it's mentioned that he was very careful. He was always conscious that and praying that he doesn't get carried away by this wealth, and he kept his perfect sadhana, humility, and he went back to Godhead. So this way, he passed the tests on all levels. So he was one of the examples of, like Prahlad Maharaj. Sudama actually remembers Prahlad Maharaj in his exchanges. Just like Prahlad Maharaj was given so much by Nrsingadev that he was able to handle it. For tens and thousands of years, he ruled uh, the kingdom, and like that, he had so much opulence. So these are all unique devotee examples of how, even if they're blessed with so much, they can handle. Sometimes, like some of us, the Lord had to take away the toys, so we do our homework, take away the gadget like iPad or something, so we can read the books. Does that make sense, Prabhu? Or you want to add something? Okay. It's 8 o'clock now. Thank you all so very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.
When did James leave? When did James leave?
Still. Glory now, the Purusha,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna Prabhu Hoy Jaha Hoy Jai Krishna Prabhu Hoy Jaha Krishna Prabhu Hoy Jaha Hoy Jai Guru Padma Siddhe Padma Vakya Siddhe Koriya Aikya Arunako Dhiyo Tata Anatoriya Ya Anatoriya Ya Guru Karuna Sindhu Agama Janarapan. Vishnu Pada Krishna Prasaya Bhusha Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityana Ganesh. Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracha
Shri Radha, Shri Gopinath, Shyama Kunda Radha, Hare Govinda, Shri Radha, Shri Radha, Shri Radha, Shri Radha, Shri Radha, Harinam Sankirtan, Bhagavatam, Shri Shri Radha, Prasad, Shri Shri Radha, all words to the single word, all words to the all words to the single word, all words, all words,